Welcome back, comrades. This is Gaming with Austin for episode 132 of the Utopian Community Series. Here we are. See, I'm beginning to see that the solar lights do in fact work quite well. Up here in space, looking down on you. You know, sometimes stuff like glittering will literally get your driver's license taken away. Problem with treating terrorism as if it was a medical condition, health problem, is the problem with using universal basic income, even if we tax the rich, is the value of the dollar would drop very quickly. When there's more of something, the value of it drops. With the exception of food. Because you need food to survive. Food is the most valuable resource there is. The reason why food is very valuable is that you need it to survive. was going to start putting so many people into poverty in Africa, climate change will make things worse in the desert. There would be massive famines going on. Housing costs would skyrocket, as there wouldn't be enough suitable land for building a house. There wouldn't be enough suitable land. It wouldn't just be housing costs that would go up. We would literally end up going into a state of hyperinflation. Which means the value of the dollar would drop drastically. Meaning the cost of everything, even the most basic of necessities like food, water, shelter, will go up. That's when greed becomes essential to survival, when there is a famine. The problem with tigers in the circus is that some of them are actually end up being burned alive. Ouch. If a nuclear war strikes, we'd be spending a lot more money on food than ever. Just so we can survive. To explain why food was always high in demand from the start, as long as there are animals on this planet, there will always be a demand for food. There will always be a demand for food no matter what. The only biologically feasible way to stop the demand would be to reduce the population size. You know, the United Nations calls Kim Jong-un a self-entitled douchebag. Because that's what he is, literally. After the nuclear war, the human population, if we do survive, we'd be living on sparse colonies. We'd be living on sparse colonies. In which everybody would be given small amounts of food. The problem with the Nazi soldiers is that even before the invasion of Poland, the soldiers were subject to very small food rations. which is why they were doomed from the start. They were literally doomed from the start. There are people out there who are living in poverty mainly because they cannot hold a job. Or they have direct family members that cannot hold a job at all. Like they are severely disabled. Like severe CP. The reason we have herbivores is that for some animals that's their only source of food. Trying to reduce the demand for food while maintaining a population of 10 billion people, it's biologically not feasible at all. Biologically, it's not feasible to reduce the demand for food. Why? You need it to survive. Proof that the demand for food is through the roof? Look at the starving African kids. This is proof you cannot... No animal on this planet can survive without food. Not even humans. I know a really good way of doing this, you know. The only biologically feasible way to reduce the demand for food is to reduce the population size. That's literally the only biologically feasible way. The only biologically possible way to reduce demand for food is to reduce the population size. Like for animals, naturally they tend to have more than one offspring per litter. The only biologically feasible way... It's biologically not feasible to reduce demand for food. The only biologically feasible way cats don't see like, even though we see some of cats' behaviors as bad, cats don't see it as bad at all. Because for cats, it's actually natural. Natural behavior is different from logical behavior. Natural behavior is different from logical behavior. What we see as bad does not mean always mean cats see it as bad. Because there's natural instincts they have to follow to survive. They need those natural instincts to survive. If you take those instincts away, they will die. Sadly, they will die. They are hardwired to hunt from birth. A carnivore is an animal that eats mainly meat, but an obligate carnivore is an animal that must eat meat to survive. As in, they lack the physiology to digest plant material. You can't just punish your cat just because they knocked over your vase. You can't just do that. It is unnatural. It is unnatural for you to put human ideologies onto your cat. Forcing the reason, like sleep, food deprivation can cost you your job. Literally. One of the factors that you cannot control with the unemployed cannot control when it goes to unemployment is the medications they're on. The severity of their disability. And where they live. And the crime rate whenever murder rates go through the roof, unemployment rate actually ends up skyrocketing because of something called fear. Yes, I said that right. Fear. Those who want to get a job, oftentimes they are too scared to leave the home. Which means they have no choice. If we strengthen gun control in the Middle East, there's a problem with that. Terrorists know a way around it. They know a way around it. They know a way around gun control. The reason cats always have a fear of fire, they need that fear to survive. Because out in the wild, cats would never jump jump into rings of fire. They would never do that. How do humans mark their territory? How do we mark our territory? By building large structures. Why did Hitler want to deny the Holocaust? I am not a Holocaust denier at all. I'd like to purge all the Holocaust deniers out of society. Some people are instinctively lazy. See, that's the problem. Some people are instinctively lazy. Which means one of the constraints in trying to get a job, there are natural instincts that we follow. What if we made it illegal for people to not have a job? Problem is, it might cause more unemployment than less, because why? Millions of businesses would... businesses would resort to human rights violations, like international abductions. There are people out there who cannot hold a job at all. There are some heart conditions that can make it hard for people to have high-paying jobs. Wanna know why? Even with free healthcare, the biggest factor in the smoker wage gap is both loss of productivity and also the cost of cigarettes. When we increase taxes on cigarettes, people are actually more inclined to quit smoking, and the costs of cigarettes go up. Our addiction, when it goes to our addiction to food, it starts when we're just a sperm and an egg cell. Because just like the fetus, those cells that help fertilize each other and create a baby, those cells need nutrients too. You can't just synthesize those cells in a lab and make it thrive without nutrients. You can't just do that. You know, cats have a really high protein requirement compared to humans. What's great about having obligate carnivores in our farms, they take out pests without hurting our plants, hurting our crops. You know, physiologically speaking, cats cannot see prey animals as living beings. They can only see it as food because they are obligate carnivores, whether alive or dead. There are people out there who literally cannot hold a job. Biologically speaking, like 30-hour work weeks is more forcing us to do a 40-hour work week to make a living. It's literally considered unnatural. If we go towards 30-hour work weeks, it would drive us we'd have to produce more within 30 hours or less per week. There are people out there who literally don't have hope when it goes to getting a job. This includes those with severe cerebral palsy. Those who are struggling with alcoholism. For those struggling with alcoholism, it's really hard for them to hold a job. Why? As soon as they are hired, they end up getting fired immediately. Because of public intoxication. Literally being drunk in public. Some people struggle with alcoholism. Some of them literally end up dying from cirrhosis. Sadly enough, some alcoholics don't live to see their grandchildren. And I'm going towards a sustainable community. The reason I'm not going to pay taxes whenever I get a job, unless I have enough, is I discovered that the tax dollars the working class pays subsidizes the bourgeoisie. One thing I discovered is that our tax dollars go straight. A lot of times, the proletarian tax dollars go straight to the bourgeoisie. Yes, even the tax dollars to the farmers go to the bourgeoisie people as well. calories is not free because it requires energy. Problem with... The right thing for the proletarians to do is to never pay is to avoid taxes altogether. Instead, have the rich pay the taxes. I guess my God. In the fascist country, for the workers in the fascist country, their tax dollars would subsidize the even though farmers are more prone to wage theft. Problem with commercial farming is that what sucks about working on commercial farms is that you'd have to rely on public housing. Not just that, you'd also have to rely on food stamps. Even if you are a US citizen, you'd still be subject to it. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How come the hunger of the gods and sausage party is this insatiable? The true reason is that without food, we will die. There are people out there who literally have to follow natural instincts. There are people out there who are instinctively lazy. Some of the natural instincts that our cats have, we see it as bad behavior in the human world, but for cats, they see it as normal. I am going full-on solar. Wow. Truth is, there is no humane way to slaughter an animal. Free range or not, there is no humane way. With cats, it doesn't matter if their prey doesn't want to... It doesn't matter if their prey wants mercy or not. They will still kill them. Why? Cats are obligate carnivores. Anyways, this is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe to this channel if you love my content, share this with your comrades on social media. As always, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and peace out.